Don't listen to my microphone. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I think I'm now live, presumably. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for anybody who was joining us in for that video premiere. I thought I'd do a little bit of a live stream here afterwards, to celebrate our first video back. So I'm here. Thank you again, everybody who was watching. But loved me some Breeze. As a matter of fact, I thought it was right back there. I'm gonna have to go find it. I've hit some more of that Breeze about 45 minutes ago. Did another 5 sprays, 50 milligrams, and because it's 1,000 milligrams, it lasts a while, which is quite nice. So let me go blow up a volcano bag. I think that is what I want to do. To get started here, to get the process going. So excuse me for just one moment. I'm just trying to get this chat link to people. But that's okay. We'll get it at some point. It'll be there. People figure it out. Yeah, let me go hit up a volcano bag. I'll be right back here. Also, we've got the icon. Still diligently working on that review. It's good. Oh, I think the battery is now dying. Oh, poo-poo. I let the volcano turn itself off. So we'll just have to sit here and entertain ourselves for just a moment while that warms back up. I guess I'm not 100% sure that I'm actually live. I assume that I am, but I don't know for sure. So if anybody can let me know for sure, that would be super appreciated. Boy, I gotta really figure this out. How, you thought I would have, but I make it more trouble on myself than I need to, that's for sure. Thank you. Person, and Hillbilly Hippie. I appreciate that, guys. And welcome, person. I don't think you've joined us before. Glad you could make it, man. Hope you are enjoying some kind of weed product yourself. Maybe, hopefully, if you want to. If not, that's okay. 3HG Production, thank you as well. So where are we at on that volcano? 420 out of 425. This is still that Claiborne County 1 ounce, 36 milligram, 36% THC stuff. Oh, the Breeze spray. Here it is. Thank God. 5 sprays into the Breeze spray as well. We'll get a couple more of those going in no time flat. Axe says, smoking on a steezy right now. Very nice, Axe. And welcome, Axe. What kind of steezy are you doing, my friend? Since I have hung out with you guys just in the last day, man, brand new movie that is excellent that literally came out last night that you got to check out if you have Hulu. It is called Palm Springs, starring good old Andy Samberg. And it is a new take. There are a lot of these, and it makes total sense to me that this is a storytelling mechanism that has been sort of repurposed, which is the Groundhog's Day storytelling framework, which is the time loop, being stuck in the same day over and over and over again, and only you realize that you are trapped in this time loop. So Palm Springs is that kind of movie. It's a Groundhog Day movie, based where Andy Samberg is Groundhog Dayed, but at a Palm Springs resort at a wedding. And the movie involves somebody else getting Groundhog Dayed with him at some indeterminate point in his Groundhog's Daying. And the Groundhog's Day storytelling framework is so good. It's just a wonderful little device to. It makes total sense to me why it's taken off, because it is a great storytelling. I'm going to use the word device again, and I'm sorry, but it's just so excellent. I mean, this point of stories is showing change, right? It's showing how people change, and nothing really demonstrates that better than repetition and showing how, in the same cycle of events over and over again, how somebody sort of navigates that same set of circumstances. And it's great. Russian Doll on Netflix was a Groundhog's Day story, but it was in the TV show format. It has a few little twists of its own on the Groundhog's Day formula. But it's great. Palm Springs, though, again, is the movie. It's wonderful. It is straight up hilarious too. It's been a while since I've seen a studio comedy that made me laugh that much, but it did. I was laughing quite a lot. Los Angeles King says, "What's the best edible brand you have ever had?" Los Angeles King, they still exist. They still exist. I'm almost certain. At least somewhat recently, they still exist, but they're not quite. I mean, if you can find them, buy them for sure. The best brand there ever was in the history of weed edibles, in my opinion, was Canaco. Now, there's actually a different Canaco. There are like several Canacos where everybody spells Cana in a slightly different way. This one was, I believe, Kaneh Co. Maybe. And they had mostly baked good edibles, lots of brownies, cookies, everything. And I had, those existed more in the days of whatever goes, the Wild West of edibles. But they were far and away the most powerful edibles for your buck that I knew of. And that's still true. But right now, just sort of off the top of my head, whatever gummies that you can buy most affordably, it's hard to say, Los Angeles King. If you're looking for value, the best answer is whatever is cheapest at your dispensary that you know, as long as it's legal dispensary, it's been lab tested, it should have what it says in it. You should be good to go. And if that's all you care about, whatever the cheapest is. Other really, what you're, looking more at now is rating it more on this sort of subjective taste standards, or the stuff that I'm not especially good at, which is like the subjective, this strain used here made me feel this way. I'm not super perceptive in that way, so I also fuck up there. But but there are a lot of good affordable edibles now. So don't be afraid to buy the cheapest thing that's at your dispensary. It'll work just fine, or it should. 3HD Production says, do you find dabs are getting way too artificial? It seems as though I am forced to get some fruity dabs that don't taste like dabs at all. I like the marijuana flavor profile, but it's hard to find in Chicago. Here on the West Coast, I do find that especially dabs, not cartridges, but the actual wax itself, buying extract, not in vaporizer form, but to put in a dab rig or your own little portable thing, whatever. A significant percentage of it here is excellent quality and does not have any added, terpenes or anything. It's totally full spectrum. So things like Raw Garden is a name that gets thrown around here a lot. Raw Garden doesn't have, to me, any sort of that artificial, fruity, chemical additive taste in it. That could definitely just be a product of the market there in Chicago. And maybe even the preferences in Chicago are slightly different as well. Treasure LA says, on Hulu? Yes, Palm Springs is on Hulu. And it's not just me who loves it. Look at the reviews first. But don't spoil yourself. But yeah, it's not just me recommending it. The reviews are great. It is truly fucking hilarious. Palm Springs. And it's not just hilarious, it's also kind of good-natured and and veers away from misanthropy, even though it could clearly go that way. Hey, Mark! What's up, Mark? Glad to see you and Candy. How are things over there in the UK? You guys seem to be doing a little bit better than us. Well, you were doing a little bit better than us. Maybe now you are doing substantially better than us. Daryl says, have I tried Delta 8 Distillate? I have not yet, Daryl, but I believe somebody else in yesterday's live stream asked me the same question. And now I am curious because I've had, generally, if I get a bunch of people asking me about something, we'll check it out. Not just because, of those suggestions, but it sort of indicates maybe that there is some kind of trend. Wow. Mark says, we're doing okay. Both back to work. I was off this week with kidney stones. Oh, dear God. But then things in general are picking up. The country is slowly recovering. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm glad you guys are starting to get back on track there. We've decided to sort of veer off course. We're super derailing, as a matter of fact. But kidney stones, oh my God, Mark. I live in fear every day of developing kidney stones. Which is ironic because I know it's going to happen because I drink a lot of soda and shit. Was it, Mark, as miserable as people say? I've had, tough people, friends who say that it leaves them, like, crying in the fetal position on their floor from the just sort of overwhelmingness of the pain that accompanies them. And did you pass it, Mark? Or did you get it blasted with some, like, sonar? So Mark does confirm it was total agony. And I am sorry to hear that, man. that seems to be the case. 3HD Production speculates, I think Chicago's dispensaries are unfortunately already corrupted. They have insanely limited stock and countless taxes. Do you advise traveling to Michigan for products way cheaper, legal? I am over 21. I assume all of those things would be true in Michigan. All the things that you speculate would be true. It's just that Illinois is such a nascent market still, relatively speaking. And these states are very protective about their weed industries, and most states only allow you to sell what is grown in your state. And even especially because technically you're not allowed to transport weed across state lines. I feel like we just always totally forget it's wild that weed is, I mean, we say it's legal, we say it's legalized, but that's not even remotely true. It's not even close to being true. I mean, we are, it is still federally illegal, and federal crimes are worse than state crimes. I mean, you can get charged by the state a crime that is worse than the federal government will charge you with, but generally, if the federal government charges you with the same crime that a state would charge you with, you're in for that much more world of hurt if it's done federally. And fuck, dude, like, the fact that weed is still federally illegal, it's still a class 1 narcotic, and we just kind of like don't. It just, I don't know. It's bizarre. I find law. I know this is one of my hobby horses, but I find literally the idea of law and laws and interpreting law and where you determine the spirit of the law or where you try to find the letter of the law. I find all that stuff just to be so utterly, laughably subjective and so completely open for any kind of interpretation that what does justice actually mean? Like, when we say, like, somebody gets justice or a jury served justice on somebody, well, what does that mean? It means that, like, 9 random people or 1 random judge made a verdict based upon what? We try to kid ourselves that they do it based upon reading this statute, and they're gonna look at that statute and compare it with the facts of the case, and this, that, and well, that's not what anybody does. That's not. I mean, everybody makes the decision totally emotionally, and you're kidding yourself if you think otherwise. So why do we assume? Why is justice synonymous with the emotional decision of 9 or 1 person? It doesn't make any sense. And then why do we assume that the law, when it was written anyways, was valid and worth following at any point anyways? Most of America's heroes, like the people that we love in America, are people who flagrantly broke laws. So what does that say? Like, that says to me that our legal system's a piece of shit, and that we routinely make laws that are counterproductive and that require people that we think of as the heroes of our country to overcome those sort of norms that we erect. It requires fucking heroes. So it's like, what was the purpose of that law anyways? I don't know. I think, yeah, man, I should never be a lawyer, or a judge. I think very badly of judges, and I think very, very poorly of judges, in general. Anyway, sorry. I am breeze, guys. Let me do a little bit more. Not that I need it. Oh, Mark says he has passed them, still passing them. Oh my God, Mark. I am sorry. You're still going through it. Holy shit, my man. Terrible. Awful. Ooh. Did you, Mark, was it, were you a tea drinker? I know tea is an especially strong, there's a very strong correlation between heavy tea drinkers, which I guess you being British, even more likely that you'd be a heavy tea drinker, although I think the tea being referred to here is usually cold tea, like iced tea, but I don't know. But there is a heavy, very strong correlation between drinking lots of tea and developing kidney stones. So I'm just curious if you yourself are a connoisseur of a cuppa. Hillbilly Hippie says, oh my God, the first stones I got were in Baghdad. I wanted to die right there. Awful pain. Ooh, even worse, Hillbilly Hippie, away from home. So Baghdad, were you, are you a serviceman? Are you in the military? Are you a veteran? That's the term I'm looking for. Or were you there as a contractor? Were you there as a civilian? Were you just visiting Baghdad? Genuinely curious. I used to work with vets quite a bit recently. Pretty cool group of people. Sadly, quite marginalized. For a country that loves to suck its own asshole about how much it fucking loves the troops. It loves the troops. We're all about them troops. The troops. We sure as hell treat them like fucking garbage. The second they are out of the public eye. I mean, like dog shit. I mean, utter dog shit. But support them troops, boys, until they're out of sight, and then forget about them. Sorry. Anyways, Mark says, on the upside, we are starting to look into the next USA holiday, West Coast this time. Well, very cool, Mark. I would love for you to come by and visit us here in Long Beach. It seems like it might be a while. In the irony of ironies, we're travel banned pretty much everywhere. I guess you guys can come to us, but we can't visit you. Nor can we, in irony of ironies, we are now prevented from going to Mexico, even. It's weird. 3HD Production says, a lot of gray area. Thanks, man. Welcome. Mark is a coffee fan, hates the tea. Defying stereotype. Love it. Ed Avila says, hi. Hello, Ed. Thanks for joining us. Medical Cannabis says, hello from Scotland. No caffeine or sugar for me. Medical Cannabis, we used to hang out, right? Maybe you had a different name. You're the gentleman of advanced years from Scotland, I hope. If so, hello. Thanks for joining back in. Ed, coming in with the pun job, says, I've never had stones, but I do get stoned all the time. Nice, Ed. Likewise. Mark says, we are probably looking at 2022. We will 100% come visit you as we will be visiting someone else who lives in Long Beach. Oh, he goes by Twitch streamer that goes by Stone Gaming. Never heard of him. Yes, would love to meet or hang out with Stone Gaming. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I will. Does he stream on Twitch, Mark? I will look him up there. And then Hillbilly Hippie says he retired from the military in 2007 and then started contracting until 2017. Then he was disabled and put out to pasture. I'm sorry, man. That must suck. What what arm of the service were you in? Were you Marine, Army? I'm not just gonna name them all because I'm pretty sure most people know. Ed Avila asks, "What are you smoking?" It is right over there is the jar. I will actually go show you because I will refill this. Hey, buddy. Dog's here. Come on. What are you doing? Yeah. How are you? How are things? This dog's even getting old, man. Gray in the eyes. His name's Squid. He's 7? Almost 7, something like that. I don't know. He likes to play Frisbee. Now, if you'll excuse me. Ed, so this is the weed. Love showing this off. Claiborne County. That's the farm. And then that wonderful, fun 36.25% THC in there. Ooh la la. Love it. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill this back up. This is where we just sit here and nod our head as this fills up. It's kind of fun to watch, actually. The Volcano is such a wonderful, apt name for this device. The conical shape, the big plume of white smoke, and then once you get that smoke in your lungs, you're obliterated, just like a real volcano. If that were a real volcano, this would be the pyroclastic cloud. It's a fun word. Thanks, Dante's Peak. That was in that era of weird doubling of movies. Dante's Peak, Volcano, Bug's Life, Ants, Armageddon, Deep Impact, so on, so forth. Dante's Peak was much better than Volcano. I didn't care for either Bug's Life or Ants. And Armageddon is, of course, better than Deep Impact. Deep Impact is totally forgotten, I think. It's maybe a good time to talk about Michael Bay. I can't think of a better time to talk about Michael Bay than this. So where we at? I'll get to Michael Bay in a moment. Medical says, hey, 58 isn't that old. Just my broken back that makes me feel 90. I am sorry, Medical Cannabis. I was really struggling to come up with a term that's like somebody who is older than me, but younger, like older than the average age of people that would normally be here, which is awesome, and I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us. But I just failed spectacularly at being coming up with a graceful phrase or turn of phrase. So I apologize. Shame on me. Ed says, Ed from San Diego. just down the south. And Hillbilly Hippie lets us know that he was an army man. Wait. Who did you? Oh. Hosted by Stone Gaming. Okay. So I didn't know that. Mark, are you a Mortal Kombat player? Like, are you competitive? Or do you play competitively? Mortal Kombat. What are we on? 11? Is it 11? Boy, what a franchise! What a crazy franchise. I don't need to go down that rabbit hole and the whole Ed Boon, Mortal Kombat, Mortal Mondays. Oh my God, Mortal Kombat. What a rich topic to choose from. But let's go back to Michael Bay for a moment. Michael Bay. I think Michael Bay is... I don't know. I think Michael Bay is misunderstood, maybe. Michael Bay has done one legitimately spectacular movie in his career. I mean, I will admit this is a little nostalgia tinged for sure, but I do genuinely believe that The Rock, the Sean Connery, Nick Cage, 1993, I think, action movie about Alcatraz, was... I hope I don't have coronavirus. I've got sniffles now. Probably just from all that coughing. That movie is fucking incredible. The Rock, I think, is one of the greatest, traditional action adventure movies ever. It's so incredible. If you've never seen it, it's amazing. And it's amazing in ways... I mean, unlike most Michael Bay movies, it has people that you root for and care about, and it's funny, and it's not too up its own ass or too self-serious. It doesn't take itself, it kind of understands what it is. The Rock, it's amazing. But then he does do some shit. I mean, I think a lot of the Transformers movies are rightly determined as risible. And a lot of his, sort of late 90s shit, like Armageddon, is terrible too. It's really bad. I mean, it's just really bad. But then he does something... This is a movie that I find... I don't think I would say it's a movie that I like, but I do think it's a movie that is absolutely worth watching. I don't know if I would say it's good, but Pain and Gain, from Michael Bay, Pain and Gain, I don't know, 2013, 2014, something. The movie starring The Rock and Mark Wahlberg, based on a true story about some stupid criminals who do some stupid criming, it's a fascinating movie. It's a fascinating movie, and it's fun to watch in parts. It's funny, but it's also genuinely deplorable. As an idea, because Pain and Gain is a movie with a point. It's just that point is fucking awful. I can't believe he's trying to make it, but it's really worth watching. Pain and Gain. Michael Bay, weird guy. Michael Bay, if you've never seen Michael Bay do his, was it Samsung? Some studio or something, or tech company had him on at one of their press conferences to do a demonstration for something, and the teleprompter didn't work for his speech to read his, pre-written remarks. And Michael Bay just fucking walks off. He just gets so frustrated with the fact that his remarks aren't there. He's just like, fuck it, and just leaves in the middle of this giant press conference. You gotta admire him. But you don't. Because I've heard he's an asshole, too. Michael Bay. Okay, that was way too much time on Michael Bay, and I'm sorry. I'm really now fascinated in more in Mortal Kombat and Mark's story in Mortal Kombat. Miss Castellar, I'm sorry, I know I'm mispronouncing that, says, how much did that machine run you? The Volcano is very, it's not cheap because it really is an incredibly well engineered piece of machinery. I think it cost me $500. I think it's $400 now. But there is a better version that's like $600. So, it's not cheap. So JD says he likes the collared shirt and beard combo. Thank you, JD. Oh, also Ed is 62 years young. So we have plenty of people watching who are more wise than me. Way more wise than I am. Let's see. Mark says he has started to play Mortal Kombat competitively. He's not good enough to get into the high-end tournaments. So the Mortal Kombat community has a pretty robust like tournament scene, right? It's a pretty big tournament game. I know Mortal Kombat isn't considered like the most technically advanced fighter out there, but I think it's pretty respected. I mean, I'm a big man-child. I really enjoy the disgusting, awful, repulsive fatalities. It does suck that it does give their employees PTSD to have to storyboard and then animate those things. But you know, they're fun to watch the first 2 or 3 times until they become you know, a little repetitive. But boy, NetherRealms, man, they know how to make a single player fighting game unlike anybody else. Have you played what's Aftermath, whatever the semi-sequel is to Mortal Kombat 11? I haven't tried it yet. I will probably play it at some point when it's cheaper than it is. Because Mortal Kombat 11, what a goofy, fun game. Mark concurs that The Rock was brilliant, which is why we know that Mark is brilliant. He also did both Bad Boys movies, which were great. Bad Boys 1 and 2, yes. Although I do think Bad Boys for Life is fucking great. It's great. Martin Lawrence is so unbelievably funny in it. I mean, my opinion of Martin Lawrence as a comedian just skyrocketed. He had me in stitches at point. Will Smith, take him or leave him. But yes, I do like Bad Boys 1. Bad Boys 2 definitely has its moments, as Hot Fuzz points out. But it is also kind of the beginning of the, like, really wild Michael Bay. The Michael Bay that starts to get, you know, your Michael Bay that produces Benghazi, the movie. Oh, Hillbilly Hippie knows the iconic line. Welcome to the Rock. Losers moan about trying. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Well, Carla was the prom queen. How badass of a line is that, delivered by Nick Cage? He really does. I mean, it's such a badass line that he ones up James Bond himself, Sean Connery. Demi Moore to star in Michael Bay produced pandemic thriller Songbird. Oh. Demi Moore, where have you been? Not being married, but pandemic thriller. Timely. Very timely. It was so bizarre to see Contagion get become this phenom. It was not that big of a hit of a movie. I loved it. I thought, I mean, Soderbergh, there's another weird, there's a topic to talk about forever, Soderbergh. But, you know, this movie did okay, wasn't really remembered, and then pandemic happens, and all of a sudden it's like the #1 selling movie on iTunes for a month, because people apparently don't or want to panic more. Speaking of panic more, oh my fucking god. In February, my wife and I read the novel Station 11, which is a post-apocalyptic novel. It's pretty big. It's become quite popular somewhat recently. I think HBO Max is going to do a series based upon it. And the world-ending calamity there is a fast-moving flu-like virus. So that was a fun thing to read in the month of February. I was like, oh, okay. Let's see how this goes. But Contagion, much better movie about pandemics. Steven Soderbergh, amazing director, sometimes directs some of my favorite things. I also just love how experimental he is, how willing he is to do weird shit, but that also makes him liable for doing fucking awful things. And Steven Soderbergh directed the worst movie ever made in the history of ever, and that is Ocean's 12. Ocean's 12 is the worst movie ever made. All the Ocean's movies I don't like, really, anyways. They're just kind of smug. They're just like flashy and glitzy and about beautiful men doing their jobs really well. Whatever. But Ocean's 12 is the worst movie ever made, and I can see why Steven Soderbergh thought this idea was going to be amazing, and why he decided to do it. But with 1 second of thought, how could you not go, no, okay, we can't do that. No, how stupid is this idea? People are going to go, buh. And the thing that he does in Ocean's 12 that, I mean, I find to be so galling, so utterly, and just baffling as a choice. Julia Roberts is a character in the movie, and I don't even remember what her role is. She's I don't know. She's a character in the movie. And of course, the boys need to pull off a heist again in Ocean's 12, and they got to have all their special little plots and things to go through, yada yada yada. And you know, everybody's got a specialty. One element of their big, dumb, elaborate heist involves Julia Roberts, the character in the movie, whatever her name is, whatever she does, is going to impersonate Julia Roberts, the actress, who is going to a premiere in the same city or whatever that they are in. So I can see why Steven Soderbergh thought to himself, like, oh, how cool would this be? Like, we'll have Julia Roberts here, and, you know, she'll, like, get to pretend to actually be herself, even though she really kind of is herself. How cool is that? But it's so fucking monumentally stupid. you know, there's the idea of like suspension of disbelief, but once you plant that stupid idea in somebody's head, the second it's in there, they're gonna immediately go, "Oh wait, so there's a George Clooney in this world too. Oh wait, so there's a Matt Damon in this world too. Oh wait, there's a Casey Affleck in this world too. Oh wait, there's a whoever the fuck else is in that goddamn interminable list of fucking beautiful men. There's another exact fucking duplicate of them. Why is this movie not... Why do we care about fucking elaborate heists in this universe and not the fact that there are goddamn celebrity doppelgangers running around who have never realized that they that they are exact replicas of the most famous people on the fucking planet? I don't know. Ocean's 12. It's not a good movie. That was my Ocean's 12 rant. Was Mark saying we're talking about Ocean's 12? Maybe. Fun fact. His cousin, Susan Bay, was married to Star Trek actor Leonard Nimoy, R.I.P., pour one out, which led to his casting as voice actor for Sentinel Prime in Transformers Dark of the Moon. I didn't know that. That is a fun fact. And definitely pour one out for Mr. Spock. He may be Mr. Spock to you, and he may be Sentinel Prime to some, but to me, he will always be the narrator of Civilization 5. So, Medical Cannabis says, a time to watch a film. See you all. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. God bless all. Medical Cannabis, I gave my top 3 favorite films on Tuesday or Wednesday or something. My 4th favorite film is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. One flew east, one flew west, one flew over the cuckoo's nest. I had no idea it was the last line of a poem until I read the novel when I was like 20 or 21 or something. It had been one of my favorite movies already, and I decided to read the novel. And it is spectacular. Ken Kesey, man, what a fucking author. And the movie is it's incredible. It's timeless. Its message is timeless. It doesn't feel like a movie out of the 70s. It really does feel like it could be ripped from any moment. It's a perfect little. It's got everything everybody wants in a movie. It's got a villain to despise, a hero to root for, a tragedy that crystallizes the hero's journey. You know, all the great storytelling tropes. Man, great call, Medical Cannabis. Yes, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Both the movie and the novel, incredible. The novel is very similar to the movie. The only difference, as far as I remember, is that the novel is actually told with the chief as the narrator. Like, the novel is narrated by the chief, and you actually, sometimes the chapters are begun with, like, the chief's sort of delusions, which are, he just imagines this constant machinery, like, running and operating underneath, and he sort of shares that in his narration at different times, and that's pretty much it. It's like the chief's narration and that framing, but otherwise pretty much the same, including the iconic ending. Sorry if anybody has had water fountain related accidents. Uh, let's see. Oh, your reply was about Bad Boys. I'm sorry, Mark. Yes, I totally understand Bad Boys 2 as a favorite. It has some of Michael Bay's best set pieces, for sure. As long as you're, you realize, like, Michael Bay gonna Michael Bay, and you can hang with it, some of those set pieces are absolutely outstanding in Bad Boys 2. That, like, Hummer driving through homes, deplorable as a thing to glorify, but exhilarating as a thing to be a spectator of. Justin, hey, welcome. Justin says, got some lemon tree live crumble, but afraid to dab it due to a tooth extracted Tuesday. I can see why. You don't want to get any suction in there because, you might break that sensitive thin seal. I'm trying to think if there's what you could do. You could get a cannabis drink and drink it slowly. Other than that, tincture would be the worst. No. I've never had... Boy, we've been talking about a lot of really painful, awful, but common maladies. Justin, earlier, Mark was filling us in on his misadventures with kidney stones, which, woof. I'm sorry to both of you. Not a fun way to spend your quarantine. Heroic, Mark. Yes, I don't want to say any, I haven't said what I'm about to say, but generally all of that advice is baked in with a lot of redundancy. Like, when they say, like, you shouldn't smoke anything for a week or suck on anything for a week, they understand that for almost everybody, it's going to be healed in a couple of days. But there will be some cases that, it'll take 5 days to heal or whatever. And it's easier just to tell everybody, wait that long than to try to, like, ferret out who's going to, heal at different rates. Anyways, boring. Ruben says, hey, my guy tried Plug and Play. I would love to see you review them. They're way more potent than Steezy. Ruben, boy, do I have a surprise for you. Not only have I reviewed Plug and Play, Ruben, I have also done a head-to-head Plug and Play versus Steezy where, you know what? I'll just let you watch the video and see what conclusion I come to. I bet you're not going to be surprised. Ed says, so how long have you lived in Long Beach? I used to work back in McDonnell Douglas back in the 90s. Oh, what's McDonnell Douglas? Is it a school? I'm not sure. But I have lived here for 4.5 years now. Moved out here from East Tennessee, where I'd lived practically my whole life before that. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. The COVID flight idea is real because we are, what an amazing, weird, topsy-turvy world things are. We're now living in a city is more of a liability. You have less amenities around you than you do in suburbs or exurbs or even rural areas, because you pay a lot more to live inside of a city for less space and less living space and less, everything. But the idea is that you have all of the stuff that you really want close by, so you can walk to your grocery store. You have every restaurant within, a mile of you, this, that, and the other. And that is all true, and that is all why I love living in Long Beach. However, in our moment, in the moment we are living in, none of that is that whole calculus is thrown out the window, because all those amenities that you had as a city dweller, the great majority of them are either severely restricted or totally gone. And now you think to yourself, well, why the hell would I pay more to live in the city where I have less options of things to do than if I lived in the suburbs where I have, a yard to myself and this, that, and the other, and it's way cheaper. So that is a real and substantial thing, and I think the longer the pandemic continues, the more prevalent that will become, and you may start to see some wild things happening in real estate. I would not be surprised. But still, up until that point, and even now, still love living in Long Beach. I live very close to the beach in Long Beach, live close to the bluffs, if you know Long Beach well. And it's beautiful. It's fantastic. To me, it's paradise. They mad jets. They made jets. I see. It's, gotcha. There's a lot of, aviation stuff out here, because I think, JPL used to be right around here, and other sort of military adjacent scientific endeavors. So you would have a lot of aviation type things out here. So that makes sense. There'd be more companies. Okay. And with that, guys, I think I am going to go ahead and take off. It was always going to be a little bit of a shorter stream. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you, everyone, for watching the video earlier. And I will definitely be back Monday, but hope to be back maybe one of these days, this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I will post it on Twitter. I did actually post this one on Twitter a whole hour ahead of time, so go me. New reviews are more being worked on. I might release old stuff, probably not because it's so old. I don't know. But I am working on new stuff. Still have the icon here that I'm reviewing, and we've got some other stuff that I've already shot, just need to edit and send out. So, with that, guys, that is going to do it. Mark, you can follow me. It's just, I think it's at Wheats Reviews. I don't think I got at Wheats. I don't remember. I'm sure you can find it just Googling it. And with that, I'm going to take off. Thank you so much, guys. I will hang out with y'all again soon.